Welcome back to another episode of Farm Sim 25 Builds. Today, we're doing something a little different. I'm going to build a cattle farm. I know, it's something I really haven't done yet, so bear with me, we are learning. Now, as always, we start with very flat ground to place our house. It looks crazy like this, but we are going to hit it with the soften tool around the edges, and it will end up looking a lot better. Now, the reason why this is kind of a different video is I'm actually going to eventually make this save file available for anyone to download. Now, this is in the testing stages because I am on console, so this is something that's not really done or talked about, but I did find a workaround, and once again, as always on my page, we figured it out and made it work, right? So here's the deal. I am actually making this for another creator. He will be posting about it and showing it on his stream, and he does have a dedicated server. I'll actually link his page down in the description below, so that you guys can check that out as well if you want to see this played on. Now, how this is going to work is I kind of plan to get these save files and make a folder for you guys. The only thing is, if you're on console, you will have to have a dedicated server. Dedicated servers are pretty cheap. I mean, on console, I've got 2 right now, and it runs about $12 a month for 4 people on console, and that's access 24/7. Server stays open, server stays live, crops are 24/7 growing, animals are living, breathing. It's as close to a real life server as you can get. Well, I mean, it is a dedicated server, so obviously, but like I said, these files, my save files, are going to be made available. I still am working on sorting all of that out, and I'm thinking about making like a website or a hub for you to download them. And these will be free. Now, once again, this will work on console, guys. I'm on Xbox right now as we speak. As we're making this video, this was all made on my Xbox. I'm running my server off my Xbox and all of that. Well, I guess I have the website pulled up on my computer to manage the server, but it's all really simple, guys. I will be releasing some videos talking about that and explaining that process and how to do that, how to make it work, and the smoothest practice. What I use, what I've learned, having 2 different dedicated servers from 2 different providers, and all of that. So keep an eye out for that, guys, if that is something that you're interested in. Those videos will be coming probably this week, as well as at least my first save file for you to download. Like I said, these are going to be free as well. I will not charge you for these save files. All I ask is, don't claim it to be your own, and at least give me a shout out or something if you're creating content with it. That's all I ask, guys. Otherwise, you know me, we're putting ponds everywhere and all of that. We love our ponds, right? Gotta have them. Can't live without them. Alright. So this other streamer here, guys, he is a TikTok streamer. His name is AverageDad83. Same as me, guys, creating content, just trying to figure it out and learn like us all, but he had reached out and asked if I'd be willing to do a collaboration or something like that, and I totally am willing to do collaborations. Don't get me wrong on that, but I really have been toying around with this and learning how to save servers and save my game files, and he kind of reached out at the perfect time where this almost worked smoother for me. Now keep in mind, guys, as always with my videos, if there is a shed or a building or something that you see that I place and you're curious or you want it, you can look in the bottom left hand corner. That green text, shed with extra wide doors, that's the mod name. Search that up, mod will pop up. If you're not feeling like doing all of that and you're feeling, just like taking the easy route, I do have my dedicated server running 24/7. All you have to do is search FarmSim 25 builds in the server list. My server will come up. You are then able to download any of the mods that I am using that are active. Now keep in mind, I don't have all of my mods at the moment. I'm still working on getting that sorted out. It is kind of a pain, to be completely honest, to have to add mods to a dedicated server. It's a process. It's really a time-consuming thing, so bear with me on that, but eventually I will have a pretty good catalog that you guys can download. Eventually I would like to open up this dedicated server. We're still working on the fine details of that, so bear with me on that as well, guys. That is coming, but like I said, this is a work in progress. We are completely learning. I've never had a dedicated server before this. I didn't even know how they ran. I honestly, in my mind, a dedicated server was like $100 a month. You know what I mean? Something ridiculous. So I'm really glad to know that it isn't. But like I said, there is a lot of back-end work that you will have to do. Alright, we're just going to get our cow bar in place. Now keep in mind, I deleted it and then decided I wanted a pond. You cannot edit the ground or terrain once you place a barn, like a animal barn. So make sure you do that before you place the fence. That is why I deleted it, went back, lowered the ground, and then placed this. Now you also have to place the water after you place the fence, otherwise it will constantly tell you colliding with object. So if you have water around and you are placing a fence and it keeps on telling you that, don't get upset. Just delete the water, delete your pond, anything like that, and it will fix that issue. Should fix that issue. I'm not going to say will, actually. I take that back. Should fix that issue. We're going to leave a little bit of that ground disturbed a little bit, make it look like, you know, the animals have been there and living it up. I decided that I want to disturb some other areas. Cows can be kind of rough and all of that on the ground, so we are gonna throw some more little distressed areas. I decided that I want some darker animal mud inside there, so we do change that paint color. Just keep in mind when you're painting or doing anything like that with grass, just take your time, go slow. It doesn't have to be perfect. The ground is never perfect. It's technically nature, you know what I mean? So don't stress. You don't have to have perfect lines, perfect edges. Yeah, they look nice, but it isn't going to be the end of the world if you don't get them, guys. Don't stress. On this build, I did use a mixture of small and medium grass, which isn't something I normally do, but we kind of did mix it up a little bit, depending on where you were at and how close to a building it is. Now time to finish our layout of our roads. I like to place the buildings and kind of get that placed, and then I envision how are we going to drive through here. The way that I envision it is if I have a semi and a trailer, you know, 53-foot trailer, how is that going to get around here? Am I going to be able to drive around that bend? Am I going to make that? Am I going to hit something? You know what I mean? So we will make some paths back here. This is just a nice little shop. And I like this barn. I don't know, this is just a base game barn, but I love it. There's so much storage in there. So many different doors and openings, crevasses. It's great. Love it. And I did forget with this pole barn, it is technically gravel underneath on the inside for the floor, so I do actually have to go back and paint the inside. So that is kind of what I'm doing right now, is trying to paint the inside with the doors closed. It isn't pretty, it's not very easy, and that probably wasn't the best method of going about that. You could technically, which I do a little bit later, open up the doors and get all the angles, all the bits that I had missed and things like that. Now keep in mind, this is just a general layout. I just like to do a general layout of how it's going to flow. You know, like I just said a couple seconds ago, this isn't the final layout of the roads, but it does give me an idea of where I can place things and how I want things to look, you know. And I do believe, you know, in convenience. I believe in ease. I don't like driving on the grass. I really don't. Now I did decide we're going to do a back entrance in case you have a big harvester or some big piece of equipment that won't fit through the normal gates or something like that. So we do add that here. And this map makes it really easy to add an entrance in these ditches. All I do is raise the ground up and then hit it with soften. Look at how smooth that is. I didn't have to use a slope tool. I literally just raised the ground, hit it with soften, and it leveled it out perfectly. Love that. Alright. We're going to keep on keeping on here. Now this is the point where once again you have to decide, how do you want your roads to go? You know, it would be convenient to have a path through here. So we'll throw that there. Widen that out a little bit. I don't like sharp edges either. It makes it really tricky when trying to go around corners, so I kind of round them all off. Make sure that, you know, no matter which way you're coming from, you can get where you need to go. Kind of feels like a maze sometimes, but I don't know, I like it. Like I said, I'm all about that convenience. When I'm playing, I don't want to have to drive through the grass or take a tricky way because it looked better on the layout. I don't know. I don't believe in that. We're going to make it look nice. This is a custom farm. We're going to do it how we want, how we think that it should flow. Just go around those buildings and objects that you placed. Make sure to touch up any ground that might have been painted, you know, a different color or texture. So we just run around there and get all of that. Starting to look nice, so I really do like how this came together. I think it's gonna flow nice, and like I said, I've never really done a cattle farm. That's not really my thing, but I did kind of try to do a, you know, larger scale cattle farm. This one can hold, I think, over 380 head of cows, which is pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with that. We do also end up adding a sheep enclosure across the road, just in case I want to do sheep, goats, or anything like that. Just being careful not to get grass where you don't want grass. No one wants that. No one likes that. Alright, like I said, just be careful. Go slow. Take your time. We did cut out a little bit of that there. We're going to place a gas tank over there, or fuel tank right over there. I believe in washing your vehicles, fueling them up, and then parking them at the end. So that is a wash bay there. And I just feel like it's perfectly fitting. We're going to throw a water source here. You never know. If you want to expand, throw down a greenhouse or anything like that, it's nice to have a water source and not have to think about it. We're also going to place this wall-mounted pressure washer here. Super nice to have. Love that wall-mounted pressure washer. Comes in handy. Even if we have a wash bay and things like that, it's still not always easy to get a harvester or combine all the way over there. So we are going to leave the option of having it, you know, washed at the pole barn. We're going to throw a few decorations down here. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy with these. These are going to be save files that anyone can download on any platform. So I don't want to eat up your slot count trying to play Barbie's Dream House. You know what I mean? So I'm going to leave some of that up to you guys. If you guys have been watching my videos, following along all of these times and things like that, I believe in you. I think that you'll be fine to throw down some extra clutter and decoration yourself. I know that that's kind of the fun stuff, but like I said, I don't want to eat up your entire slot count because I think that it would look cool. Some people are going to hate that. Some people might like it. Maybe in the future I do two versions, you know, a very basic version and a version with decorations everywhere. If that's something you're interested in, drop a comment, let me know. You know, like I said, this is all trial and error, stuff that we're learning, and it's not something that's going to be today, guys. Don't think that you're going to hop on today and be able to play. No, we're not ready for that yet. I need some time. I'm just kind of talking about it, bringing some attention to it, and getting people excited because I'm truly excited about it. Like I said, we're just going to throw a few decorations down. I'm not going to go too extreme, but I can't help myself. I like to play Barbie's Dream House, apparently. Whoopsies. Alright. A few more little things here. This is more of like a service vehicle type of bay. Throw a little milk jug carton thing over there. A little wagon. I don't know, guys. Like I said, this is all just random. We're just grabbing a few clutter items here just to make it look at least a little bit like a lived-in used farm. Throw some clutter over there. Like I said, I don't have all of my decorations downloaded yet. This is still something that I'm working on adding to the servers. That's another reason why I don't go into full detail, because I don't have everything, unfortunately. We're getting close, we're getting there, it's a work in progress, but I would eventually like to have most of my mods, at least my favorite ones, and I do currently have all of my favorites, so that is something at least. This is kind of a tricky area here, it fought with me, but keep in mind, if you're trying to place a fence, water is not going to be your friend. If you have a pond placed, it will collide with your fence. So keep that in mind, be careful. I did end up deleting my pond. I just go and put one back a little bit later. It's simple, it's not hard to do. Then we'll throw our fence up over here, run it down over here, meet it up to our other side here. Now, once again, we don't want full enclosure here. I kind of wanted to leave the backside open so that you can hit all of those fields. This is a save that's going to be used for a dedicated server. So I don't want it to be annoying or tricky or anything like that. I don't want people to have issues driving around on this farm and creating issues for whoever might be using it. You know, that's just no fun. No one wants to deal with that. So I am trying to be mindful of that, be mindful of how large equipment can get and how easily it can get out of hand when you do start buying big equipment. My goal is to mitigate that, make that issue as small as possible, and try and solve it if I can, you know what I mean? Just keep a little bit of grass right here. And there is the last little part there, and I do kind of accidentally get grass back in the cow pasture. Not a huge deal. We'll just paint around it again, and boom, you'll never know that I just messed that up. Alright, so we do need to touch up this path just a hair, just to make it look a little better. Then we gotta finish up our other roads. There's a lot of painting on this one. There was a lot of paths, a lot of different roads and things like that that we did have to make, so I apologize. This video did have a lot of painting and groundwork, grasswork, things like that. You can see here we're just kind of connecting things up so that you have multiple paths that you can take for whatever you're doing. I don't think it makes sense to have to drive the entire way around the farm just to get to one spot. That's why I do so many roads. Like I said, I like convenience. I'm lazy. Alright, now we gotta finish up the entry area to our cattle pen here. We're not doing anything too extreme, like I said. We'll just throw some dirt down. Nothing too extreme, nothing too special. It really doesn't have to be that special. It's just for cattle. But it looks good, you know what I mean? So I'm going to kind of disturb the ground around that gate there. I just think that that'll look better. And then we also need a way to get to the manure pit. So we'll kind of paint this up with some dirt there. And then touch up where we went over. Throw down some more grass. And let's finish painting up our back entrance. Boom. Easy. Easy money, guys. It's a very simple build. There's really not much to it. We do kind of go pretty hard with all the buildings and stuff like that. Love that, but no, I'm very happy with how this one has turned out so far. We are gonna still add a sheep or goat enclosure across the road, and we still need trees. You always need them trees. We love the trees. Now we are going to do this little touch over here. This is part of the plant decoration pack. I don't know what it is about these, but they're all over all of these maps. Like, they're just little weeds. And I think that they look good when you kind of just sporadically press it and just put little patches everywhere. Because that's kind of how the maps are. If you look closely at some of these pre-built farms, they do kind of just do this. So I've started practicing this, and I've found that it actually looks really, really good on your farms and things like that. I'm all for, you know, making it at least semi-realistic. I love that. Alright, we're almost done with that. Like I said, I kind of go crazy with these. They look so good. It looks crazy when you're in construction mode. Everything always looks crazy in construction mode. But it looks so good when you're out walking around and right up on it. And oh, I love it. I love it, guys. I really do. Alright, so this is one I found, the US refrigerated hanger. It's kind of a cool one. It's for milk and things like that. Just a nice little touch. We are going to put that across the street for our goats and things like that. Alright, we need an entrance to this big double wide door here. Love this pole barn. This thing is massive and it is so perfect when it's placed right here, because you can just drive right into your fields. Super convenient, super nice. Now we're going to throw a few of these over here just to make it look, you know, once again, a little more natural. I like the pops of color, the red, the pinks, orange. I love that. So we'll throw some yellow in. These are all just random. I just randomly throw these bushes down. I've just found that I love these ones. You can drive through these too. So interior of the farm and driving space, I like to use bushes rather than trees, unless it's like near a building or somewhere where you're never gonna drive. Because you have to cut down a tree. You can just paint grass over these and they disappear. So keep that in mind when you're building, and just be mindful. Like I said, I use bushes anywhere where I think that a vehicle or a trailer might end up. Because then if it does end up there, all you're doing is driving over it. You won't even know that you hit it. I don't like getting stuck on things either. I don't like that. It drives me nuts. When I'm pulling into a place and I hit a tree, oh, it's so frustrating. I usually cut that tree down. But no one wants us to have to do that. Especially if they're trees that you place. That's mad annoying. We will kind of touch this up. Boom, boom, boom. Once again, all about access. This is kind of built in a big square now. You can go all the way around, go through the center, get wherever you need to go from anywhere. And I will go a little bit extra with the trees in the pens. I really like the trees in the pens and making it look like an actual nature reserve. I don't know. I guess there aren't a ton of farms that have like a full-on nature like area like that. A lot of the farms around where I live are just disgusting and full of junk in the nicest way possible. But that's okay. This is a video game. I'm going to make it look fancy. I'm going to make it look nice. I'm going to make it enjoyable to be here. I don't want to see the farm and smell it through my screen. That's ridiculous. That's wild. So we're going to try and make this at least a little fancy. I like my combination of trees. I just kind of randomly place them, change the sizes, change the orientation. Some of them have different color leaves. Some of them change to completely different colors than anything else. Some of them, you know, have very different shapes depending on the size and maturity of the tree. So just be sure to cycle through, check all of your options and things like that. I did forget to do the water plants there, so let's throw that in. Throw a couple pops of pink. I mean, this is for cattle, so most of this probably would be destroyed realistically, but that's okay. I think it looks good. Alright, let's grab this tree here. I like this tree. If you go one size smaller than the biggest, it looks, I mean, it just gets really poofy. Kind of like my hair, just poof. Just poofs on out. Love that. I don't know, it's big, bushy, and looks neat. Looks good to me. Let's do a quick walkthrough, make sure that we're not missing something major. For the most part, this is beautiful. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. Very, very, very happy. Pond looks nice. Now I do need a path up to the house there yet. but that's pretty simple to do. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, we got a walkway. Throw a little walkway over to our garage, and then let's put a little pad under our garbage cans. Boom, done. Wow. You know, quite honestly, I was going to end it at this and not include the sheep, but we have that entire field right across the street. And that just doesn't quite make sense to me to leave that open. So you know what? Let's start with another pond. Throw that water in, boom, boom, boom. Just get that little area made. And painting it is pointless right now. It really doesn't matter because it will repaint it when I place the pasture. But that's okay. I'm going to use the Iowa Plains View barn here. And let's make just a little bit of room to drive around. Let's say that you want to drive around the outskirts with a UTV or something like that. Side by side, you totally can. We'll throw that up. Boom. Paint that meadow so they have something to eat. And we'll just quickly throw our water in. You can see here I didn't paint enough room. The pond is actually bigger, so I do kind of have to make the paintbrush a little bit bigger to get that grass out of the water and make that look a little bit better. Otherwise, guys, this is pretty simple. Not that much. If you're new here, guys, and you like what's going on, you like what you're learning, you like what you're seeing, be sure to drop a subscription, drop a comment, and come hang out. I am live on stream on TikTok Monday through Friday and on YouTube Monday through Friday. TikTok, I usually start my stream around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. YouTube, that stream starts when I am done on TikTok. Usually I aim for 2 p.m. Central Standard Time or 2:30-ish, kind of depending on the day and things like that, what we're doing on stream and whatnot. If you haven't already, guys, don't forget to join the Discord. That link is in my bio in the Linktree, as well as a whole bunch of other links to some cool things, guys. Different pages, channels, stores, things like that. Check it out, guys. My Linktree does have a lot of stuff. Otherwise, guys, if you keep an eye out on that Linktree, coming up here within the next week or so, I do plan to have these save files on there so you guys can actually download my saves and play on my saves from wherever, whatever console you're on. You can make it happen. So keep in mind that that is a work in progress. This is something that I am working on. So give me some time with that. Bear with me. We'll make it happen, Captain. Don't worry about that. Now we are going to throw down this refrigerated hanger. I just love this thing. And like I said, let's say they choose to do goats. They can use this for storage of that milk. There also is good space in there to store a forklift or skid steer or anything like that. So keep that in mind. It is a nice little shop. It does have auto load and auto storage. Like I said, guys, if you do want my mods or anything like that, all of the mods that are used in this video are in my dedicated server that is currently live. Now, once again, there is a password on that server. I'm not going to tell anyone the password yet. We are not ready for that, but keep an eye out. It's coming soon, guys.